आओ फतेह दा जवाब फतेह देना। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। A common question that many of us ask is, why does my mind run when I pray or japa now? This is a very, very common question, and most of us are encountered with this question all the time. Guru Arjan Dev Ji gives us an answer to this question in his Bani. Guru Sahib uses an analogy of a piece of gold to help us understand. He says, "Jyo kanko kuthari chadyo, kabro hoth firo." I repeat, "Jyo kanko kuthari chadyo, kabro hoth firo." Guru says, when you take a piece of gold and place it on a small kuthari, kuthari is a small container, and put it above fire, Guru Sahib says the piece of gold starts to move around so fast it runs around with a hissing sound. Guru uses the word kabro hoth firo here. Kabro means like a mad person. It moves around all over the place so fast, like a mad person. Then Guru further says, "Jab de sudh paye hai bahar hai, tab de thaan tiro." Jab de sudh paye hai bahar hai, tab de thaan tiro, which means there is a point where it stops running. Guru says when it reaches a point of purity, it stops running. Here Guru uses the word bara. It is a classification of gold. Bara Vani, normally they say that is supposed to be the gold in its purest form. Guru says when the gold is totally pure, it stops running around. The piece of gold runs around because it has impurities in it, and it has to be placed on fire, burnt, for the impurities to go away. Similarly, Guru Sahib says, our mind runs around because it has impurities. Once the impurities are gone, our mind will stop running. While we are understanding this, let's look at the causes. Let's look at the cause of impurities. Guru says these impurities have been collected over births and birds and birds. Guru Amar Das Ji tells us in his Bani, "Janam janam ki is man ko mal lagi, kala hua siyah." These impurities have been collected over birds, and the mind has become black like a coal due to the impurities. But the question now, where did these impurities come from? Kabir Sahib helps us understand this. Kabir Sahib says this impurity is a result of bad karmas that we have done in the association of bad sangat. This impurities causes our mind to fly around like a bird from one place to another place in all directions. Kabir Sahib says, "Man pankhi payo." Kabir, "Man pankhi payo, ud ud dhai dis jaye, jo jaisi sangat milaye, so taiso phal paye." Kabir Sahib says, the mind, the impurities are a result of bad karmas that have been done in the association of bad sangat. Let's come back. Now Guru says, due to these impurities in our mind wanders around and one is not able to focus on now. So let's come to the big question now. So how do we settle our mind? How do we take away these impurities and get our mind to settle? Guru Sahib says in his Bani, there is only one way, which is following the bhajan of the Guru. Guru says, "Ab moro nachno raho," that my mind has stopped running. And Guru Sahib tells us how. Guru says, "Lal rangila sahaj payo, Satguru bhajan laho." He says, when I start listening to my Guru's bhajan, my mind starts settling down. Naam, Vaheguru Ji then resides in my mind. Now, another question comes up. So what is Guru's bhajan? So what is the Guru's bhajan that Guru is referring to that will help us clean the impurities. We all do Japji Sahib every day, and Guru says in Japji Sahib, par yeh mat papa ke sang, oh to pe nave ke rang. Guru says our mind, which is filled with these impurities caused by our paps, gets washed away with reciting of Naam. By the grace of Naam. Now there's a trick. The trick is one has to keep reciting Naam even if the mind runs. As we keep doing this, our mind will gradually become pure. Naam is slowly but surely washing the mind of its impurities. The Mahapurushs and the people who do Bandagi give us an illustration to help us understand this. They say, when you jap Naam, there is a Brahm Agni that is produced by Naam. This Brahm Agni burns these impurities. And as it burns, it gets to a point where the mind becomes totally clean and the mind starts to settle. And then Naam, which is first used as a cleaning agent to clean the mind, which is used as part of a cleaning process, slowly starts to reside in our heart. And then the mind starts to settle down. Guru Arjan Dev Ji further tries to explain, further explains to help us understand. He uses an analogy of a young girl. He tries to tell us, tries to explain to us using the help of this example that Guru Sahib of a young girl to show us, to help us understand when Naam resides in our heart, when Vaheguruji comes to our heart, what really happens. He says, Kuar Kaniya jaise sang seheri preh bachan upahas karo. Guru says the mind is like a young unmarried girl who is running around playing with her friends, laughing, playing, playfully telling her playmates about her husband to be. And Guru says all this changes the day she gets married. Jo surjan greh pitar ayo tab mukh kaaj lajo. Guru Sahib says the day she gets married and meets her husband, she then keeps quiet in shyness and covers her face. Guru says just like that, the mind runs around playfully due to the impurities. The day Naam resides in the heart, when Vaheguruji comes into our heart, the mind will stop running. Let's come back from where we started and to conclude. Our mind runs around due to impurities, and Naam helps us clean these impurities which have been collected over births and births. We have to continue japing Naam even when and even if our mind runs. There will be a point when all the impurities are gone, when all the impurities will be gone, the mind will stop running. We then get into another state which is called Naam Ras, which is another subject by itself. There are a few phases that will follow. Guru Kirpa will try to talk about this in time to come. First, it starts with a cleaning process. After the cleansing, what happens is Mandatakao, the mind settles down. After the mind settles down, then the state of Ras. Ras is where you start having bliss. Then it's a state of Milap. Sadguru Kirpa Karan. To conclude once again, the mind runs around because of the impurities in the mind. And to clean these impurities, Guru Sahib says, Par ye mat papa ke sang, o to pe nave ke rang. We have to continuously jap naam, jap naam, jap naam, jap naam. It will clean our mind and take us to the state of being totally pure. With that, Guru Sahib says, Naam will reside in our heart and our mind will stop running. Vaheguruji ka Khalsa.